What is good, guys? Soldier Only here from Sports Nerd Web with a new episode of Sports Nerd Web Weekly. Uh, this week we have a big episode because today is Rise of Iron launch day, and to be honest, Bungie fumbled it a little bit, but we'll get into that in a second. A few days ago, I posted a video about the Division 1.4 update because we finally got some details on that. We still don't have a release date on it, unfortunately, but they did give us some details of some of the stuff that they are going to implement in update 1.4. We do know that it's supposed to be coming out at some point next month in October. We know that they plan on adjusting the enemy's time to kill, making them less of a bullet sponge, which would really be nice. They're also going to implement world level select, so you can pretty much change the difficulty of your of the whole world that you're in, and I guess that is going to work in PvE, PvP, so like the Dark Zone and things like that, missions, incursions, all that. They're supposed to be adjusting the way the loot drops as well. So you're supposed to be so you should be able to drop loot more often, and also loot should fall in the level according to the world level that you have selected. And they're also going to add patrolling bosses again in the open world, in the PvP, or excuse me, in the PvE area. So they didn't really detail any plans that they have of what they'll do with the Dark Zone. I'm really curious to hear what their plans are with that. I'm sure that they probably only let us know a little bit. I'm sure that's not going to be everything that's in update 1.4. So I mean, they still have until next month. So I mean, it is getting close though, because we are here on September 20th. So I kind of have a feeling if 1.4 does finally drop next month, it's probably not going to be until like probably later in the month of October. And as far as the next DLC goes, Survival, we still don't really have a date on that as well. I can see that being more like maybe late November. Now that's just my theory, so don't, take it for what it is. But getting into the Rise of Iron launch, Rise of Iron launched 3 in the morning my time, and it was pretty interesting. Well, interesting probably isn't the word. Frustrating is probably more fitting. As soon as 3 in the morning rolled around my time, everyone, I was jumping on. I was watching streams, and I was watching the streamer I was watching him jump on, and nothing. Crickets. The servers pretty much crashed, and it was chaos. And it ended up being, and then, like everyone was checking Twitter, Bungie was sending out updates, saying that, we're working on the problem. I kind of don't blame it happening because I'm sure there was probably a crap ton of players all bombarding their servers at the same time. Like, I'm sure it was insane. Because Bungie quickly implemented a queue system. So depending on when you were trying to connect, it would put you in a queue. And what made it even more frustrating, I saw people start in a queue. What was it? It was like I think somewhere maybe in maybe 40, 50,000, range. And then it would whittle down, and then they would get kicked, like booted out. Then they would get back in. And the next thing you know, it was up to 90,000. Happened again. Next thing you know, it's up to 100-something thousand. And this kept happening. The streamer I was watching got kicked about 5 or 6 times and even made it up to like 290,000. Me personally, it was doing it to me too. I got kicked, I think it was about 3 times. And the highest I got to was, I think it was just slightly over 300,000. So it was really frustrating. And I had literally said, if I get kicked one more time, I'm turning it off and I'm going to bed. But lo and behold, I stuck through it. I didn't get kicked, and yeah, I got down to what was about 60 something thousand, and all of a sudden when the number was updating and dropping, it started dropping huge increments, like 10,000, then 30,000, then all of a sudden I was at 40,000. All of a sudden, boom, I was in. So all in all, it was close to a 2 hour wait, honestly. From I finally got into it about 5 in the morning my time. So but so far it has been worth it. I've been playing it a little bit. I've already I think I've done about 3 of the missions already, and it's really good. I'm liking it a lot so far. A lot of the engrams and loot that's been dropping, it's at higher levels, so it's looking really good. So I'm glad that that Rise of Iron is finally out, and as far as I know, everything's been going good. So hopefully it stays that way. And as far as the Al Sector thing, when I finally got into Rise of Iron today, my character didn't have the mites, flying around anymore. And no other characters did. I didn't see it around anywhere. So I think it's pretty much over. When I checked the Al Sector website last night, all the dialogue and the transcribed conversations that were in it were pretty much saying how the problem's been sorted out and all this, and the infections are eradicated. And I think what it was, I guess they're not really working it too far into its lore. My theory is what it was. It was probably just a way for them to implement a buff for people that probably weren't level 40 yet, for them to get their characters up to level 40 to get ready for Rise of Iron. Because Rise of Iron, you have to have your characters at level 40. But even if they didn't, when I got into Rise of Iron, my Postmaster, not only did it have my my Iron Gallahorn and Iron Gallerwing, it also had, what was it called? It was this little Strength of Light or something. It was this little light thing that you can take to get your character right up to level 40 if you have a character that's not up to level 40 yet. So, but yeah, that's just what I personally think that whole Al Sector thing was going on for, just to help some players who weren't at level 40 get their characters up to level 40. That's kind of what I think. Yeah, and another thing that dropped recently, a few days ago, I noticed there's a new Resident Evil 7 trailer, and if you know me, you know that I'm a really huge Resident Evil fan. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 is probably one of my favorites in the series. Resident Evil is probably 2 and 4. 5 was still good, but going downhill. 6, no. But I really like what they're doing with 7, and if you guys haven't checked it out, I highly suggest just search for a new Resident Evil 7 trailer, and you should be able to find it. And it's looking amazing. It looks pretty damn scary too. Like, I think Capcom is definitely doing something right finally by the Resident Evil franchise. So that game's coming out. I believe it's January. It's either January 24th or 28th. I believe 28th, but don't quote me on it. But I know it's one of those two, end of January. So yeah, and then we're pretty much getting over that summer lull now, and we're going into the fall, and it's video game season now. We got Gears of War 4 is coming up early next month. Titanfall 2, Dishonored 2. I'm really looking forward to both of those. Final Fantasy 15. We have the PS4 Pro coming out November 10th. Oh, and I would really like to know what you guys think about the PS4 Pro. Like, if you guys are planning on getting one on day one, I would really be interested to hear what you guys think about where the console, where the whole console generations and all this stuff is going in the future. Like, what you think is going to happen. I'll be making a video in the near future about it, going into that a little bit more. But that's it for this week in this episode, so we'll see you next week. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd48. You can check out my live streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/soldieronly. And check out mine and my ladies' podcast at Spreaker.com/user/SportsNerdWeb. I know that's a lot of information. I will put all the links in the description down below, so check them out. Don't forget to smack that sub button on this video, or give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and we'll see you next week. Peace.